Hi, everybody. It's Seth, your Mild Mannered Mage, and I am here with our brand new show, The Best Card in Magic. And I am happy to have our special guest, Tibalt's Apprentice.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Great. And we are going to be talking today about what we think are the best cards in Magic. And with this particular discussion, we're going to be focusing on the different aspects of or the different colors of Magic. So today, I gave you the option of what color or what card type you wanted to get into. So what did you choose for us to discuss today?
Well, a visual cue or clue would be, can you see it there?
I see a little bit on your elbow right there.
It's a chaos symbol, so it's going to be black or red. And given the choice, I have to go with black. And I have to say, I am willing to defend these cards to the death as being the best cards in the color, unless I change my mind, because that can happen too.
All right, so we've got a bunch of cards to talk through, different categories. So we've got creatures, instants, sorceries, enchantments, artifacts. Where do you want to start?
I'm gonna stay with my instants or my instant. There is one card above all that calls out to me that I enjoy. Because I've been playing Magic for about as long as I've made Magic cards. Actually, that's not true. I jumped in about Revised, but I started with the third set. So I missed Alpha and Beta. I got in with Revised, and then was hooked for a while, in and out from there. Anyhow, one card that appealed to me was Dark Ritual.
Dark Ritual.
And it was just getting a jump start on the amount of mana that you could do. And at that point, of course, we were playing 60-card games. So having that creature, having that 2/2 or 3/3 or whatever creature on the board first turn made a huge difference. So some people would argue you're wasting a card.
Equivalent of a Soul Ring.
Yeah, exactly. So there were a lot of other cards that I could have put, like Bubbling Muck or something of that nature. But for me, Dark Ritual is definitely the way to go.
Dark Ritual is a good card. I still drop that in some of my commander decks, just again because it is such a good card. And then there's another one too. It's very similar. That gives you, I think, if you've got Threshold, you get 5 mana.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it offhand.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if that's an instant as well too. But yeah, I mean, both of those kind of give you just a fantastic mana advantage to get the ball rolling.
Absolutely.
The card that I chose, and I really had to kind of go through and try to figure out, like, what is the best? What gives you the best advantage as an instant in mono black? And honestly, I had to go with a tutor, and I went with Vampiric Tutor.
Yes.
1 black mana, pay 1 life, go get any card you want, and put it on top of your library.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, especially as a commander player, you're watching the board develop, right? And you're looking at the cards in your hand, you're looking at what your opponents are doing, and you're trying to think, like, oh man, what do I need right now to solve this problem?
Exactly. You're gonna need something to unlock that next level there.
Exactly. And being able to go and on your opponent's instep and being able to just to drop that and being able to go and get what you need and put it on top for your draw step to be able to go and grab that so you can get that next turn and be able to play it immediately. And then you also have the ability, depending on the type of deck that you're playing, you can play it during your turn, and then there's plenty of ways to draw cards in mono black.
For sure. For sure.
All right. So where else you want to think
Well,
about
so
it.
the next thing, and this was a great exercise because obviously when you gave me the choice of colors and I thought black, that's always an easy include for me. Right away, my brain went to that. But what was a little bit more difficult for me was to think deeper and say what enchantment would be the best one that I could give. And this now we're actually starting to get, as opposed to the flavor, when we're starting to look at more of my personality in here, I think. Because for enchantments, while I wanted to go for reanimate, that
Yeah,
was an easy one.
that's a classic
I,
right there.
I went for something else. I went for endless ranks of the dead.
Ooh, now
Yeah,
that is
I like the ability of getting zombies, getting those bodies on the field and stuff. So it's one that maybe not everybody knows about. I don't know that they've reprinted it in any of the latest zombie precons that they've done. I don't know, but
the last time I think that it got reprinted was maybe in the double feature um, Innistrad Midnight Hunt
Midnight
and
Hunt,
Crimson Vow. I think you
right?
can get that as a special edition card. So it's been a hot minute since it's seen a reprint.
It's one of my favorites though.
Okay. Who is your favorite zombie commander?
Well, here's where I tried to do this list, and this is where I kind of got a couple of cheats in here. We'll see if you allow it. It's not actually a zombie commander. It's Ghoul Color Gisa.
Dual
She is yeah, she is the helm of my zombie deck, and
Okay.
it's her ability to create zombies that lets me call her a zombie commander. Give me 1 second here. I will see if I can find it off the top because I don't remember what her exact designation is off the top of my head, which is horrible because I just said she was my favorite. I ought to know, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, you should be able to rattle that off. I mean, you should be able to rattle any card off the top of your head.
All the thousands of them, I should know them by heart. I am no Gavin Verhey. Let me tell you that. I am no Gavin Verhey. His knowledge of cards is truly, truly amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
especially when they try to stump him with the guess this card, and he 9 times out of 10 he gets it.
he gets it exactly.
Yeah, while you're looking for that, I've run two zombie commanders before. The first one that I built was Grim, uh, the big zombie amalgam, where
Yes,
to untapping you have to sacrifice a creature or a zombie, and then he gets a +1/+1 counter whenever you sacrifice a creature.
nice.
So he gets big rather quickly, and you can. He also serves as a sack outlet, so you don't have to just sack one; you can sack multiple. And then the other one that I ran wasn't a like you. It wasn't a zombie at the helm. It was a god.
Oh,
I ran the Scarab God because he
yes,
works with zombies and makes
for sure.
zombies and bring things back from the dead.
Absolutely. So this one that I have, Ghoul Color Gisa, she is a legendary creature, of course. She's a human wizard, but that ability to spend 1 black mana, sacrifice another creature, and create X 2/2 zombie tokens, where
Uh,
X is that creature's power, very,
oh,
very strong.
that is very good.
I, I, because now I want to go off on a tear about. I don't know where you're going to go with it, but I'm so excited. Here's the thing. So when it came to creature cards, just general creature cards, I thought about Gary. I thought about Gray
Oh,
Merchant Asphodel as being absolutely on point. But I'm going to cheat again because this is not a zombie card. It's actually Wall of Blood.
Wall of Blood.
Wall of Blood. Yeah,
I don't
Wall
know
of
if
Blood.
I've heard of that one before.
It's a wall, so it can't attack, but it's pay 1 life and putting 1/1 on this until end of turn.
Okay.
So if you think about that with Ghoul Caller Gisna, and I did this just recently on another friend's stream, on Superfast stream. We played a commander deck. I got her out early. It got to almost my turn. I dumped 20 life into my wall of blood, sacked it, and got 22 zombies, and then killed everybody the next turn.
Oh, wow.
So again, not zombies technically, but zombie
But they're
adjacent.
honorific zombies.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are, and again, you didn't ask a creature type, which would have obviously said zombie, but yeah, the black creatures and stuff, that's about as black as you can get. You know what I mean? Trading life for power, definitely on point.
So I just went for my creature. I went with a fairly newer creature. I say newer, but I would say this particular creature has come out within the last couple of years. And this was with the recent Phyrexian invasion to Magic, and that's Sheoldred the Apocalypse. And the reason why I went with Sheoldred is because that whenever you draw a card, you lose 2 life. Is such a drain on any game because you're slowing everything down. You know, card draw is the way to win. I mean, being able to have a fat stack of cards in your hand and not being able to go through and get those cards so that you can try to win, or paying that life in order to do it, and you're just taking hit after hit after hit after hit. Meanwhile, the owner of Sheoldred is just gaining off of them drawing. It's just whenever she drops, it's just like, okay, everybody, we need to focus on this creature. You know, this is a problem. You know,
I've watched a few people try to do Sheoldred as a commander, and it's like you're painting a big target right on your face.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of commander decks that are floating around in my play groups that, you know, depending on the commander, that's like an automatic target. This is one of them. Especially if it gets paired with the Peer into the Abyss, where you draw half your library. That's game over for you right there.
That's it.
All right. So what were you? So we jumped around a little bit, and I actually didn't get into my enchantment.
Right.
So for my enchantment, I actually went with something that I think would actually pair well with your zombie deck. And if it's not in your zombie deck, I would be highly surprised. And what I went with is Phyrexian Reclamation. Are you familiar with this one?
Oh yes, it's in there. It is definitely it's in there.
As soon as you said Ghoul Caller Gisa or Sagging Creatures, this has got to be in it.
Yes.
So for the uninitiated, Phyrexian Reclamation is I believe it is a 2 mana. No, it is a 1 mana.
It's only 1. Yeah.
1 mana enchantment, and it doesn't really do anything. It just has a static effect where you can pay 1 and a black and 2 life, and you return a creature from your graveyard back to your hand. So, especially with aristocrat decks or zombie decks, where you're going to want to do a lot of playing around with your graveyard, putting things in the graveyard, bringing them back, and everything, this is a great little enchantment that'll be able to help you help you do that. And it's only, I think it is an uncommon.
So cheap and so good, so cheap to cast. It's great.
It is. And it is for an uncommon. It is up there. I'm looking on TCG Player right now as we talk, and it's close to like $5 for an uncommon, which that's pretty good.
It's worth it though. It is worth it.
Oh yeah. So we've talked instance, we've talked sorcery, enchantment, creature.
Oh, we didn't talk sorcery.
Oh no, we didn't talk sorcery. So we've got three types left. We've got sorcery, planeswalker, and artifact. What direction you want to head?
Well, I happen to have. Well, let's do the sorcery. We didn't do the sorcery, so let's do the sorcery.
All right, let's do the sorcery. I struggled with this one a little bit.
So did I. Sorcery as it is.
All right. So, what sorcery did you think of?
This was so tough, and it was a great. Just aside from everything else, this was just a great exercise to look at such a wide pool of cards and try to pull something. I mean, there's so many to talk about. How do you narrow it down? Mine was Killing Wave.
Killing Wave?
Killing Wave, yes.
I am not familiar with Killing Wave.
You've got to pay the life, but you then give -1/-1 for the lives that you spend.
Okay.
So it can wipe out the board. So I love my board wipes. I'm a huge fan.
Okay.
Killing Wave will let me let me get the card here and read it.
So it's almost kind of like a Toxic Deluge.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
But Killing Wave is 1 black,
okay,
1 color, X colorless rather. And for each creature, its controller sacrifices them unless they pay X life.
Mm.
So it can be, I personally have had to deal a lot with indestructible cards,
right,
or cards that I can't target, hexproof and so on. So for Killing Wave has definitely been the way to get around that being able to pay X and forcing those people to pay. Sure, they may keep a couple of their creatures or whatever, but how bad do they want to save them? Because that sacrifice is going to take care of whatever they have on their board, in theory.
Right, and that's for each creature, you said?
Yes, each creature. Its controller sacrifices it unless
they pay X
life.
Yeah. That's pretty good, especially for your decks that seem to want to like just put out tons of creatures, your token players, or your go wide decks, that are just going to build up this massive board state. They're not going to be able to keep, especially if you dump a lot of mana into X.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to pay 10 life for everything.
Yeah. Even 5 life across the board, even 1 or 2 life, for those creatures, depending on how heavily their deck relies upon it. So yeah, I found that I've been able to play that a few games now, and it definitely swung things in my favor afterwards.
That's pretty awesome. I will have to look for that one. I have not heard of that card before, so that should be a pretty interesting board wipe.
Yeah.
I kind of went in the same direction that you did. I went with another board wipe, but I went with a conditional board wipe. So the one that I went with is something that you could play early to mid game if things are starting to get out of control, or you could use it very late game as a win con, and that's Torment of Hellfire.
As soon as you said win con, it's like boom! I know exactly what.
There it is.
Yes.
So Torment of Hellfire, double black and X. Repeat the following process X times. Each opponent either discards a card, they sack a non-land permanent, or they lose 3 life.
3 life. Yeah.
So early to late, early to mid game, you put 5-6 mana into it, and then you got yourself a nice little board wipe, kind of clean things up a little bit. But late game, when you've got like your rocks out, maybe you're running an Urborg and Cabal coffers. Maybe you're making a lot of treasures.
I mentioned also earlier bubbling muck. Bubbling muck, which will it's just like a high tide for black though, but it will double your swamp production.
Exactly. You have Crypt Ghast out.
Yeah.
Does the same thing. Whenever you tap a swamp, it taps for double. So any of those cards that are going to help to accelerate your mana, or if you pop off Liliana of the Dark Realms, and then suddenly your manas are now, or your swamps are now tapping for 4 black mana. And if you drop an obscene amount into X, then you're going to win the game because they cannot physically recover from that. I know it's not a mono black deck, but I run Torment of Hellfire in my Prosper deck because Prosper is going to generate me a lot of treasures, and next thing I know, I'm paying 43 into X.
Closing out the game for sure.
Oh yeah. All right, so talked about Liliana. So what about
a plane? You would think I would choose Liliana. It seems like the natural choice, but for Black Planeswalker, I actually went with Obnixilis.
The precon Obnixilis or Obnixilis?
Also that one, but the precon, any of them in his forms, whether it be in his demon form or when he's stripped of it. For me, Planeswalker, just his ability. I guess I'm going to say the one that came in the precon, the ability to create demons and stuff. That was the one that appealed to me. Liliana, like you said, obviously I love her in everything and I put her everywhere I can. But yeah, she would be my other honorable mention throughout Black. Just like there's so many cards of hers, like Tainted Remedy and things that tie back to her, that she is one of my favorites. But I'm gonna go with Obnixilis on that one.
Okay. Yeah, I stuck with Liliana as my mono black Planeswalker. Specifically, I felt like of all of the Lilianas, Dread Horde General from War of the Spark was her best form. Yeah. Really, pretty much any of the Lilianas are good.
Yeah.
But her having that static of ability of whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card.
Draw a card. Can't beat it.
Having a sack outlet. Oh, I'm going to get a card off of this. Her +1 making a zombie. The -4 making everybody sack 2 creatures. And then the -9, each opponent chooses a different permanent type they control of each type, and then sacrifices the rest. And it just is a ground. We're going to reset everybody, taking them back to turn 1, basically, while you still maintain your board.
Right.
She is one that, and she comes in with 6 loyalty, which is really high for a Planeswalker. And
yeah, for sure.
Her ultimate pops off at 9, so it's very easy to get her within that striking distance.
For sure, yeah. When it comes to artifacts, is there one particular black artifact that you like?
There's a couple of artifacts that come to mind. There's the Wand of Orcus. There's the is it the Bag of Vanishing? I think it's kind of like the Bag of Holding.
Yeah.
There's the Witchclaw Talisman. Those all come to mind.
Right.
But the one that really is like, this is it. If I had to choose an artifact in black, and I'm betting, if I were a betting man,
I'm waiting.
I'm really thinking this is probably going to be the same thing that you chose. I'll be surprised if it's not.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be the honorable mention. I'm betting that it's going to be the honorable mention. I deliberately went off just a little bit, but we'll get to that in a second. Who is it, or what is it?
Bolas's Citadel.
Oh no! Okay.
No.
That is good. I didn't think about that, but I got focused on what I was doing, and that is a great one. I didn't even think of that. My honorable mention, actually, though, was Whip of Erebos.
Whip of Erebos is real good.
All of your creatures lifelink, because all this time I've been talking about so much about the idea of sacking stuff and that you're paying life to do that, and how on theme it is for black. An artifact that statically gives your things lifelink is my way of getting back in the game or whatever and stuff.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so especially with the with your zombie deck, that makes perfect sense.
But I chose, because again I molded this more to my just personal preferences maybe than the best card ever. Stratascythe. It's an older card. It's an older card, and probably not a lot of people might argue that it's not worth it, because it's 3 to get it out and it's 3 to equip it. But it gives you, and it has imprint, so you're thinning out your deck when you use it. But what it is, it's a 3. It's an artifact that costs 3. When you put it out, you imprint a land on it.
Okay.
And then whatever creature you attach it to gets +1/+1 for each land that shares the name of that card. So in black decks, obviously, I choose Swamp. Now every one of my swamps is a +1/+1 for whatever creature. So again, putting that on something, maybe I don't have the life to spend on Wall of Blood. Well, it doesn't matter if we're deep in the game and I've got 5 or 10 swamps or whatever. Suddenly I'm getting 5 or 10 to whatever creature that I'm sacking, and now I'm getting that many zombies again. So Stratascythe is the one that I chose.
Stratascythe.
Yeah, I want to say it was Mirrodin Besieged, maybe, or New Phyrexia. It's an older card, but
okay. Yeah, that is definitely not one that is on my radar, so I will have to check that out.
But Bolas's Citadel, man, I should have thought of that. That definitely is a card.
Citadel. Yeah, I feel like talking with the audience, I feel like everybody's going to know what this card does. You look at the top card of your library, pay X life to play it, and then I think you can sack 10 artifacts or 10 permanents.
10 permanents, yeah.
And then you deal, how much damage is it? Each opponent, sack 10 non-land permanents, each opponent loses 10 life. Yeah. And then you're paying life instead of the life equal to the CMC rather than its mana cost.
Than its mana cost, yeah.
Yeah. Which is good until you get that land pocket.
Yeah.
So now here's the tough question. So we've covered all the different types, right?
I think we got all of them. I have a bonus one here if you don't have something else. I'm waiting to hear what you have to say.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. What's the bonus one?
Well, here's the bonus. Did you choose a black land?
I did not choose a black land.
I chose a black land. I don't know if you would think of something while I'm talking about it, but I thought about it. It's Bojuka Bog.
Bojuka Bog, yep.
Because I mean, you could have chose the other ones, the Citadels or not the Citadel, but the other ones that give you extra mana and so on. But Bojuka Bog, because it goes in just about every deck that has black in it, and it's a repeatable in my play groups or when I played. It's something that I wanted to repeat. normally it's got an ability that I want to use over and over throughout the game or whatever. So I want ways of drawing it back. But the idea that you can play that card and take out somebody else's graveyard instantly, it's definitely worth a look.
That is, yeah. I mean, that is a great one. I remember I was playing a game where one of my friends dropped a crater hoof, and I was able to kill it, thankfully, and not get hoofed to death. And he's like, "That's all right. I'll just recur it next turn," and then top decked a Bajuka Bog. And I just kind of slid that out very slowly. It's like, we're going to Bajuka Bog your graveyard? And he's just like, no.
He needed something like a Noxious Revival or something that he could have paid life and, got it out of there onto the top of his deck or something.
I know, right? Yeah. I think for me, one of the best lands probably going to be the Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth.
Yeah.
Mainly because not only does it affect me, but it's also going to affect everybody else. And now everybody else has swamps, which, you're not really, sometimes helping your opponents is good, sometimes it's bad. But depending on the type of creatures that I'm running, if I've got something that relies on them having swamps.
Well, the first thing to pop into my head was Swamp Walk.
Yep. Then I've basically unlocked that. So I feel like that's probably going to be, for me, the big one. The other one, I think is Cabal Coffers, but that one is tough because it does take the 2 to activate it, and it doesn't tap for anything otherwise. But I feel like because you need the Urborg to make it worth it. So for me, I think the Urborg is the more important card. Yeah. Technically, I think there's also battles, but I don't really play battles. I don't know if anybody does.
I would be hard pressed to name a single battle.
Yeah. And then there's also kindred cards. I am unsure if there are any kindred in black. So that would be like tribal cards.
Yeah, I was going to say
there's something goblin related or fairy related.
Yeah, there's probably got to be something zombie related and stuff.
Maybe zombie related too, but I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Yeah, I just kind of went nuts too, because then I went through and I'm like, well, what's my favorite zombie token card? It has to be the zombie employee from one of the unsets.
Zombie employee.
Not exactly on theme. I have a variety of the zombies to choose from or whatever, but I always try to get the zombie employee on the table if I can.
Well, it's always fun to have like the not the WotC tokens, but just some like different style tokens.
For sure,
I got some from Tolarian Community College.
Oh, nice.
That I use. Those are a lot of fun. And then some that I've got picked up from like Star City Games up in Virginia. So they're fun.
For sure.
All right, so here's the big question for you, though. So we've talked about all these cards. If you were hard pressed, you could only play one of these cards. And all these cards are great.
Sure.
What is like the one end all be all? It goes into everything, or you can't live without it.
I'm gonna complete the loop here and go back to the beginning and say it's gonna be Dark Ritual.
Ritual.
because it enables other things. It doesn't have to be all black. It can give you that little extra boost that you need. Like I said, it's like a soul ring or whatever. Just give you a little bit of boost. It's a personal favorite. It's when I first learned to kind of break and subvert what was going on. There's so many black cards that I wanted to talk about. I mean, just in general, because early on in the game, it was my oh my gosh, and then I'm going to choke on it. Nether wisp. No, what was it? It was the black card that if you got 3 of them on the graveyard, you got to bring the bottom one back up to the top onto the board.
Oh, that's a new one on me.
I can't think of it, and it's like because then I would combine that with my fallen angel, because right. Every creature would trigger the fallen angel or whatever. Nether Shadow, I think it's card. Nether Shadow. They did another one that was a 3/1 creature in. So this was my first exposure to loops in Magic, because then they sealed it up and they said that you could only do that once per upkeep. Because in the early days or whatever, we would just loop it and do it infinitely. And if I had that combo, like you're dead or whatever, but it would say at the beginning of upkeep, you can bring it. If there's 3 creatures above it, it can come back. So if you had 4 in a deck, you would just cycle through them or whatever. But yeah, Nether Shadow, I think is what it was called.
Now there's Nether Traitor. When another creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay black. If you do, return Nether Traitor from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Nether. Let me look it up too here. Give me 1 second.
No, I found it. Nether Shadow.
There we go. Nether Shadow. Okay.
Yeah. If Nether Shadow is in graveyard with any combination of cards above it that include at least 3 creatures, it can be returned to play during upkeep for its normal casting cost.
Yeah.
Shadow can attack on same turn summoned or returned to play.
Yeah. So a lot of that's been errated since the beginning of the game and stuff. So you were able to do that indefinitely. It didn't have the one time only at the beginning of the upkeep, whatever. So there's so many. My point, I guess, was there's just a million black cards to talk about. I love them all, but these are just a few.
Yeah, just being able to, like, as I was going through and trying to narrow down my list, it's like, well, I like this card. I like this card. Is this card better than this card? And so, like, I've got, like, in my notebook, like, one card that I had thought about bringing up, Temporal Extortion.
Oh,
is
yeah.
A fun card. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I have. I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's a black extra turn spell. Yeah. And really, it's the way that it's worded is you pay the mana. I think it's 7 mana, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you take an extra turn, but any one of your opponents can pay half their life to counter it. Which to me is like, well, either way, I'm getting a benefit out of this.
Yeah, that's a win-win.
Getting an extra turn, or I'm zapping somebody for half their life.
Yes. Oh my god. So we're gonna have like a whole other discussion about all the cards that are adjacent to the ones. Now I want to talk about the Direfleet Ravager, which is one of my favorites and one of the ways of speeding up the game. And it's in my Wizards deck, and because you can double the cast, so whenever it comes in, you lose a third of your life, rounded up, I think. Okay. So it doesn't kill him off right away or whatever, but because my Eminence ability for my commander, I'll get 2 of those on the board. So first you lose a third of your life, then you lose another third on top of that. Then I've got my my Resonator out or whatever. I'm doubling my triggers. So now I've got like 4 of these coming on the battlefield. It speeds games up a lot. It's really gets things moving, Direfleet Ravager, though, that's one of my favorites too.
So that was kind of like in the wings, just in case.
Exactly. Yeah.
Something to talk about. So that's pretty good.
I feel like, I don't know, are we doing ourselves a disservice by talking about this? Is nobody going to want to play with us after this because they're going to think we're awful people?
Well, people think I'm. Some of the people that I play with think I'm awful anyway. So
Well, that's
that's
the
okay.
thing too. It's all in good fun. Is my
It
and
is. It
especially
really is.
with the Ravager, it's like, and it's me too. So it's not just I'm just not picking on everybody else or whatever. I'm taking damage with you. I'm paying the life or whatever. And I think we talked about this when you and I talked last year. It's like I've got to the point now playing Commander. Like I want to see you do your thing too. I don't. It's not just about me. I'm not just trying to win. I want to do my thing or a little portion of it or whatever. But I want to see what you can do also and stuff. I don't want you to take
Exactly.
advantage of and crush me every time. But I enjoy seeing what people can do with the cards. That's the best part about Magic and stuff. The combos.
That's right, and that's really why we play the game. You
For
know,
sure.
the best ones are the games where everybody gets a chance to really show off a little bit. I always, feel bad whenever we have a game and here we are turn 10 and somebody's sitting on 3 lands, or somebody's like getting mana flooded and they're not drawing anything that they can play, or so it's you want everybody to be able to have a good game, to feel like that they had a great experience so that they can keep playing.
For sure.
And I think that's really what it boils down to.
I'm just going to bring up really quick a house rule that we did when when I initially played for the first, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 years of Commander. I played with just a pot of 4 people, and our time was so precious that we got together. I mentioned this before, like we didn't really learn how to win the game. We learned how to stop other people from doing it.
Right.
In order to keep our games going, though, we had a house rule of being able to set 3 land cards aside under your commander, and you can replace draw with one of those lands if you needed to. So
really?
we could just go up and play. We didn't have to worry about mulliganing down to the perfect thing. And it's not the best. It's not the best. It was a house rule. Like I said, I felt like some people kind of abused it a little bit, or could get into a situation where they abused it, and then I would abuse it by playing Armageddon. So I really, I am that awful person. I wait till everybody else spent all their land cards and like, well, I know I've got 3 lands.
So now we take the time to blow everything up.
Yes, indeed.
One of the things that we did at one of my former LGSs, unfortunately they've since closed, is everybody would draw their initial 7. And if you did not get a good hand, let's say you were land short in your hand, you could take that first 7 and set it aside. And then you could draw the next 7. And you could keep it, or you could put it aside. But if you hit a hand that had 3 lands in it, you had to keep that hand.
Yeah, I like that.
And then that way, you start. And then we didn't pitch anything, so everybody started with 7 cards in hand.
Okay.
Everybody had the opportunity to get at least 3 lands to start with.
Right.
So really, it kind of made at least the starting first couple of rounds, very even footing.
Right. That's good. That's a good way to do it. Like I said, it's about having fun and about playing. So that's good.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, I certainly appreciate you joining me today on this episode of The Best Card in Magic. Where can everybody find you?
The easiest way to find me is to, and this is going to sound like a theme now, go to Dark Ritual, darkritual.site. There's a reason why I chose that, but you've heard why I chose that. Darkritual.site is the best place to catch everything that I'm doing and stuff. You can find my TCG Player Store there. You can find a blog where I share some more thoughts that I don't necessarily share in podcasts or whatever. And you can, if you want to keep up with anything, Tibalt's Apprentice, if you want to find me on Instagram, Twitch, any of those things, you go there, you can find everything there.
All right. Well, this has been this episode of The Best Card in Magic, Black. I'm Seth, your Mild Mannered Mage, and for Tibalt's Apprentice, we want to wish everybody some happy magicking. Thanks.